But in the meantime, we're going to a parenting specialist talking about digital dieting. We say hello to Maria Luce this morning on Memphis Morning News. Maria, thank you for joining us. How are you?
Good morning, Memphis. I'm doing great. How are y'all doing this morning?
We are good. All I had to hear was the title of your topic, Digital Diet. Should your family go on a technology fast? And I, as the parent of two teenage boys, say yes, please help me on said fast.
And I would even say, because I understand exactly what you're saying, I would even go so far as to take it from technology fast to a digital detox or a digital intervention, because any parent out there knows that kids can spend hours upon hours with some sort of screen and completely get lost in.
It is shocking, and you can look at kids of all different ages. You know, when a kid is little, they might have a digital book, but now more often they're getting all kinds of different pads for this and pads for that, and you've got your phones, you got your iPads, you got your all your gaming systems. You just got regular old school television they could be watching. So if you're trying to step away, but your kid, what do you do? Because you got, in a lot of cases, you got some kids who are going to just be couch potatoing out all the time, but you've got others who are pretty good students. They do their share of physical activity, so you don't really want to deny them some downtime, but I guess there's got to be some kind of happy medium.
There does, and you have to know your child's currency. I remember there would be times where I would say, no screens whatsoever, because you couldn't just say no TV,
right?
Because then they could go to their phone, then they could go to, just like you said. So, I mean, number one, let's just look at it. I mean, between the parents and the kids, who's got the tougher time and who are the worst offenders? So you have to really look at that in your family, because you have to be the role model. And if you're on your screen all of the time, then that's what they're looking to do, too. And come on, I'm raising my hand. We've all been guilty of putting our kids in front of a screen of some sort so that maybe my husband and I can just get 10 minutes just to talk about what's gone on for the day. But it's when you take those small amounts of time and put them in front of the screen and they have no other interaction. I mean, you just have to look at the numbers. There are some kids that are older kids that are spending over 7 hours a day on a screen. Tweens can be up to 5 to 6 hours a day, and like you mentioned, the toddlers start, as soon as they can have a screen plopped in their lap.
And there's a growing body of evidence, right, Maria Luce, that too much screen time is hurting the kids, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there are studies that show that it can cause speech delays in toddlers. But you just have to look at the behaviors within your own children and your family to decide if a detox is necessary. I mean, if there are negative behaviors that are happening and you see a difference in your child, if they're becoming socially isolated, and that could be from their friends or even within the family unit, if their sleep is interrupted. I know one of my boys would get up, and we would find him, and we're like, no, now we have to take the screens completely. I mean, if their mood, their behavior, and their focus, these are some of the big things you want to look at. And then, sometimes you can do this whole detox where, for 4 weeks, I would say in my family that would just not work, just from a real logistical standpoint. But whatever rule you put into place, you must be consistent with.
Now, that's the funny part. It's so easy to threaten and come up with a rule, and we're going to do this, and then the next day, or maybe even hours later, it's not always been adhered to, and that's probably the biggest point here is when you come down with whether a punishment or something for your own good, or let's take a break on this, sticking to it. That's really important. That's sometimes what we parents don't remember to do.
Well, and that's it's sometimes when we ground our children, it's really we're the ones that have the bigger problem because we have to figure out then what to do with their time, right? Which is a perfect segue into we have to, if you're going to take the screens away, we have to replace those with different activities, and especially with summer coming up. I mean, this is a real important time now where you just don't sit your child in front of a screen all day. And leave them to themselves. I mean, so, you could gradually reduce screen time. You can replace screen time with different activities. Certainly turn off screens at least an hour before bedtime.
Yeah, that's a good one. And I think I'm no parenting expert, but I would suggest to the people with younger kids, like kids under 10, that you control that screen time as much as you can now because it gets harder as they get older.
You are absolutely right. And that's, with the empoweredmom.com, that's what we try and do is we come together to help empower ourselves as parents. Because nobody is the perfect mom, but there is the empowered mom, and we can help each other. And I would definitely say mealtime is family time.
Maria Luce, thank you for joining us on Memphis Morning News, furthering the narrative that digital and technology is not always better. Sometimes that human interaction, such as what we're doing right now, is best. We appreciate you for joining us.